I'm going to cut out a collar, and I want to do this because rayon can be a little bit wiggly, and to anchor it I'm just going to put about 4 or 5 pins, and maybe not even 4 or 5, maybe 3 or 4 in the corners, and then when I cut, this sort of anchors it, and if you angle the pins toward the center a little bit, the pattern won't move. So then I'm going to use my fingers along the edge as my extra pins, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. And I hope you're all snip marking. It saves a ton of time. I'm snip marking the notch, the shoulder seam for the size 12. I'm snip marking the center back. Then I know where to put the collar onto the under collar and onto the neckline. It'll save me a lot of time later. So now I have my upper collar, which is the one that I'm going to interface because I want it to have the most body. Now, always keep your pattern pieces out at all times, because you will need to have them help you be more accurate. So I've opened up the collar, and now I'm first going to place the collar pattern piece matching up the snips to the edge of the pattern, and I'm going to see if it has shifted, and you can see it has shifted. So and it's actually stretched a little bit too because it's gotten bigger. So I think what I'm going to do is anchor the pattern in place, and then I'm going to scoot and scoot and scoot and get that little bit of bias back to where it should be, pat it a little bit, almost there, bring it up. I want it to be the same shape as the pattern piece, because if I'm going to fuse it, it's going to stay in that position. Okay, so I've got it back to the shape of the pattern piece. Come in just a little bit right here. See, that bias has stretched, and it will do that in rayon. So now let's do the other side. I did cut a little sloppy, sorry about that. And we'll do the other side. So we're right at the center back snips, and again, it's done the same thing. If I fuse it to the way it was shaped, then that would be fairly permanent, and then that would add to just having mistakes and having one side look different than the other and everything. So now they've got the pattern piece used to make the interfacing, or make the collar the right shape. I will take the interfacing that I've already cut out and put it on the collar and fuse. And I will use a press cloth with the lightweight interfacing, because it can go through, the fusing agent can go through and get sticky on your iron. So I just put a press cloth down, and I usually start in the middle and give it a little steam. I'm going to need to give it more, but I want to anchor it a little bit to the rayon. And so I'll do that on each side. And then I'll start fusing. And you would fuse with your steam iron. Let it sit for about 3 seconds. Move the iron a third of the way forward. Let it sit for about 3 seconds. Another third of the way. Let it sit for about 3 seconds. And what's happening, you're getting steam on the front, and it's drying it in the back. You need a total of about 10 seconds of heat and steam in every place in order to have a good fuse.